Hey guys, Skittlerampage here. Welcome back to a new video. I do hope you're enjoying your day today. So today I want to talk about Funko's current sale going on this weekend. Today I wanted to go over this sale and kind of highlight some of the best deals, as well as really dive into it and go over some of the things that are on sale. Now, before we get started, we do have our question of the day, which is, do you have a Funko Pop that you recently picked up, or just, one you saw in your collection recently that it's just kind of one of your favorites right now? And I'm going to go with the Gogeta here. Love this so much with that Big Bang Kamehameha. So guys, some important notes about this sale specifically is that you need to be a Fan Rewards member and have an account. So make sure you sign up with Funko, otherwise you won't be able to see the sale. And listed over on their FAQ, it does actually state that the offer is valid from 12 a.m. Pacific time on August 15th until 11:59 p.m. Pacific time on August 17th. But from time to time, they do actually extend these sales, so it is likely that it maybe could end up being extended till Monday. Anyways, though, jumping into things, I did actually put together some collages of some of the best actual sales that I found for a couple different categories like anime, superheroes, comics, video games, and all that. So I wanted to go over those really quickly. So first up for anime, what I found, I did notice actually a lot of One Piece, as you can see in this collage. As you know, they've just overprinted so much on the One Piece that it's just sitting in stock still. But VV there at 50% off. It's a really great deluxe ride. We also had the Master Roshi with Kame House at 30% off. 30% off isn't huge compared to like 50%. However, it's such a cool mold that I think for 30% off, it's definitely a cool grab. I think one of the best anime deals I noticed was Ivankov here at $6, normally $20, and it comes with that pop protector. This one does have that chase variation, so you're actually spending $36 for a case rather than $100+. Moving on, we also had Buggy the Clown on sale for $10.50. For Demon Slayer fans, at $4.50, we had Gyataro, another really good deal if you wanted that variation of him. Same with Ace there, another pretty good one-piece deal at $7.50 with that pop protector there. Then we also had Ichigo down there for $4.50. If you don't own an Ichigo pop, that's a really great mold. Dragon Ball fans, we had Broly and Rage with the Aura for $4.50. That's a crazy steal for that at 70% off. Kuma, again, pop protector with it. Same with Garp, you get that pop protector. Those are $10 each. Nami with the Hobby Horse at $9 was crazy. I'm hoping to see Robin at that price in the future. And then we had Frieren and the Mimic. Next up, a little bit of a miscellaneous kind of like animation section here. So we had Anxiety from Inside Out at $4.50. A lot of people really like that character. I think it's a good price. Next, we had Toothless there from How to Train Your Dragon at $14.99. I think that's a pretty good one. The mold itself in person is great. We had a couple Sanrio pops at 50% off. Toy Story pops are up there. Then we had the last Ronin Deluxe, the recent SDCC 2-pack from Fairly Odd Parents, some holiday stuff, and then some Disney stuff mixed in there. On this next page here is kind of like sci-fi and like movies. We did have the Back to the Future Deluxe moment at 50% off at $35, and you get 5 characters in that, so that is just a steal price. Darth Vader Samurai Pop, Yoda with the die-cast style at 50% off if you wanted to try to go for that chase. Then we had the 2-pack of Qui-Gon and Darth Maul at $9. That's just a steal for Star Wars fans. Down on the bottom there, we had Elphaba with the Emerald City. I think that's a great pickup before the next Wicked movie at 50% off. Harry Potter fans, a couple 50 to 65% off sales. There's also a big Harry Potter section on sale if you want to check it out on the full website. And then we also had some more House of Dragon and the Sandman at 50% off. For video games, it wasn't a huge selection, but I managed to find a couple cool sales like the Mangle there at 30% off. It's very intricate and really cool mold in person, so I think 30% is pretty good. And then we also had another pretty big sale on the Oregon Trail there at 60% off. Crazy mold in person, really cool. Down on the bottom there, a couple Marvel Rivals pops, 50% off. Banjo and Kazooie there at 65% off, only $5, which is really great. And then the Funko Fusion Blair Monster there at $15. Such an incredible mold for $15. Next up for Pop Sports, we did have some sports and racing here. We had a couple of the race cars there, which were really nice. And then we also had some 4-packs from the NFL and soccer there, which are pretty cool, and a mascot. All pretty decent sales. And one more category for you guys is kind of like Pop Superheroes and comics. We had some Spider-Man stuff here, like the Torment cover at 50% off. It's a really cool cover in person. Peacemaker fans, I know a lot of people are looking forward to that season 2. Well, the deluxe moment is 70% off at $21. I think that's a steal buy. For Wolverine and Sabretooth fans, 2-pack at $10.50 for 2 characters, just a really great deal. Dark Knight Returns cover that glows in the dark at $12.50 is really great. Spider-Man hanging upside down at 15 bucks is also really nice. On the bottom there, Mr. Knight, that does have that glow chase at 50% off. You order a case, you're paying much less to grab that glow chase for your collection. Another Batman pop there, animated series, where he's standing on the rooftop, really cool. Kite Man at $7. It's a really cool mold in person, so I thought that was a really good one. And then we also had Deadpool Mystery Minis at $2.10 a piece, so you could potentially complete the whole set for a relatively good price. So that was me kind of switching it up and kind of doing the most of the legwork for you guys in terms of specific categories and just showing you some of the best deals that I did actually find. Of course, make sure to go through the full sale because there's probably well over 1,000 pops on sale on the Funko shop right now, but we're also going to dive into a little bit and go through some of that, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay guys, so here's where I kind of like to get a feel for the sale itself and kind of look through a couple pages with you guys, and of course let me know down below as you watch this video if you actually picked up anything from this sale and if you took advantage of it, because there's a couple decent things like I just showed you. But on the first page here we have the Usopp Wanted poster. It does kind of suck because I just got this in the mail like 2 days ago, so it's like, oh man, I could have saved $250, but it's not that much, so it is what it is. I think the one I've been deciding if I want to get was the Nico Robin, because it's like $9 off, but the problem with that is that the Nami is $9 right now, and I'm like, oh man, I could potentially wait and save another like, 11, 12 bucks after tax. So it's like, I'm kind of weighing my options, but how much do I want the Robin right now, So I don't know. I don't know. If I picked up anything today, it would most likely be that, but it also feels like eventually it'll go on a crazy sale like Nami, if you get what I mean. Okay, continuing on, we actually have more of the SDCC exclusives there. I was a little surprised to see Battle Damage Superman on sale, given the movie is like just going to digital now and it just ended its theater run. So I kind of figured they wouldn't put anything from Superman on sale just yet, but it seemingly the whole line is on sale. Egress there, I think it's just kind of glitching, but I think it was like 10% off. Sometimes the website glitches to where I have to refresh the page and it actually shows a sale, but it is what it is. A lot of 10% off though. I noticed like a majority of their sales usually have 10%, and for newer stuff that kind of makes sense, obviously. We have Godzilla -1. I was a little surprised they didn't discount this just slightly a little bit more. It was a really hot seller, but at the same time they kept restocking it, and then they restocked it this last time, or at least they might have restocked it once, but nonetheless, they restocked it and then it stayed in stock. I was like, how much reserve stock were you holding on to, All right, let's see. If the Armor Titan was cheaper, I might go for it. I do actually have it on pre-order from Entertainment Earth though, so it's like, dealing $6 or like $5 or whatever wasn't a huge deal breaker for me to go and cancel my order and all that. I'll probably just show all to just kind of keep going. 10% off on that. I was actually really surprised about this sale, the Woody Deluxe being $9 off. I thought this would have sold a little better just because, Toy Story is very popular. It's Pixar at the same time, anniversary set, and it's a really cool pop in person, but I guess it just didn't sell as well as they were expecting. Freon and Mimic, this one, again, situation where it sold out and then they restocked it and it stayed in stock. And I'm like, just drop all the stock initially. Stop doing these fake sellouts to where then you have to discount things later or just make a little less. So, but it's a really great exclusive, and at 10 bucks, that's why I put it in the best deals for anime. I think that's a really good price. What else we got? Hulk Hogan there, obviously a good buy with his recent passing. If you were looking to save a little bit of money and you want to pop in of him in your collection, depending on however you feel about him, obviously. What else we got? Alabasta Nami. This one actually just dropped, so I was surprised they threw it on sale too. They didn't put up a ton of stock, but it didn't sell at the same time, so not really surprised there. Lunch is actually a decent buy, kinda, because I think it's still sitting sold out on Box Lunch's website, but eventually they're gonna bring it back, and you could use Box Lunch money and potentially save a lot more than you would versus this 10%. But if you bought 6 from the Funko shop, they're most likely going to send you that sealed case. So in this instance, you're kind of saving $1.50 per. So it is a little bit money on the case, but it's not a ton. And, you get what I mean. Superman here. So I'm a little bummed about this because I actually really like this pop, though I think if I hadn't seen it in person, I might have been less inclined to buy it. Because sometimes, I don't know if you guys see that one pop on the shelf and you're like, oh my God, this looks so cool in person. When I originally saw this, when it first came out, I was like, okay, that's really cool. It's Superman. Who doesn't love Superman? And then I saw it on Target shelf, and that was like one of the few times where I was like, I need to go home with this Funko Pop, and I bought it. I paid $38 almost after tax because I think Target was charging 35 for it and Funko was charging 30 for it, which was kind of interesting. So yeah, that was a little bit of a bummer, but I still like it. It's right over there. I'm waiting to display it out of box, but it's such a cool piece. So I would recommend this one too if you're a Superman fan and you're looking for this. It's also still cheaper than Target regardless. Casper, I was a little surprised, but it just seems like a majority of the pops are just going on sale, even new stuff. So Michael Jordan diecast, if the chase wasn't bad, it would have sold better overall because it is a cool concept still. But at $15 off per case, if you want to buy, if you like absolutely want that silver metallic chase, that saves you a lot of money per pop. What else we got? Kaiju number 8. If you wanted to buy a case, again, same situation, save a little money. Kobe here, I'm pretty sure they made like 25,000 stock of this one. So this is one of those situations where he's a cool character, but the mold itself is just lackluster. If he was doing Honesty Impact, I think a lot more people would have bought this one from Anime Expo. So if they went all out with this character that, where, you make 25,000 units, nobody's going to really buy it looking like that. Honesty Impact, give it a glow chase. You might sell 25,000 of that one, maybe, So I think they just went about it the wrong way. I don't know if it's the character necessarily itself, because a lot of people really like Kobe, especially when he has like one of the biggest glow ups in the show. What else we got? Chopper Cotton Candy, Batman. I keep seeing these pop mysteries. I think they're on like a 10% off sale or something, but you're probably going to get a very, very cheap pop. It's nothing special there. Again, Superman there, more Casper, more Toy Story. I think this was a Entertainment Earth exclusive. I think it's still available with them, so it's not a crazy sale, honestly, but Power Rangers usually sells well, so I don't blame them on that. I think this one needed to be a little bit more discount because I think it's one of those bigger like pop rides or deluxes that's just really small in box, so I kind of get it from that standpoint. It's, not a lot of people are willing to pay $25 for something that looks like it belongs in a smaller box. They've done that plenty of times. This one, I think $10 is actually a pretty fair price. I think it's a really good price just because like the Ivankov, for example, where that one does have a chase and, at what is it, like $6, crazy deal. You buy 6 of them, you're only spending like $40 after tax and everything versus, spending much more at full price at $20 a pop. Ivankov is a crazy deal that everybody should jump on if they want that chase to buy the case. Luffy here, again, it's really good because similar to Ivankov, you get the protector on each pop. So the protector is like it's like $5 and $5. Essentially, you're paying $5 for each there, or you could see it at any kind of split. Either way, it's just a fantastic deal with that protector. Boa Hancock. I actually do want this one, and at $10, that might get me because I did want the updated Boa. But at the same time, I really like the older Boa too, and I have it signed. But I would like to display it out of box because she has the snake. I don't know if I'll buy it, but I will add it to the cart for now because I already have so many One Piece pops. I might not need that one. I might not get that one. I like Boa's character, but it goes down to, do I need more figures of her? Because I already have one signed. Haku, great mold in person, so I think it's worth $10.50. I think that's a really great price. Smoker here, you can save a little bit of money compared to Chalice. Obviously, Chalice charges $20. Funko is already, under their price at $15. Additional 10%, so you're saving a lot of money there regardless. What do we got? Freyr in here. The Aki one is actually not bad because it's actually a really cool moment out of box. So at $25, I think that's worth $25 when you see all the detail there. We got Kuma, another One Piece thing where they just really overprinted on this. But at $10 with the case, it's really cool. And I like Kuma's character. I feel like I would want, like, that is a really nice variation, but there's also so many other things they can do with him. We got Yujinho there. This one kind of disappointed me. I know for a fact that this just wasn't really selling all that crazy. It didn't sell out on Entertainment Earth. I think it's still sitting in stock now. And 10% when this shouldn't even be classified as a premium when it's just so tiny. Like, it's a premium because of all the extra details, so I get it from that standpoint, but it's tiny. Like, when you get it in person, it's just tiny, so it's very unfortunate there. I think if they did like a 30 or 40% off sale, more people would pick this up because it's actually a really cool mold. It's just small, unfortunately. If you're a Spy Family fan, this is actually a pretty good buy because you're saving $4.50 per. So if you buy the case and you want that chase with the red bow tie and flocked, I think that's a pretty good one. What else we got here? What else? Nami Wanted poster, 30% off. That's pretty good. She hasn't restocked at Target, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, cheaper place to get it here, which is really nice. Again, with the hobby horse, $9 is just a steal. I might have bought this one from them because I do want to pick this one up eventually if it was on a little bit of a better sale, but it's also a really cool exclusive, and they haven't done bleach in a little bit since some of the previous waves and this exclusive. So, you know, 10% I think is pretty fair for that one. House of Dragon, Mordecai number 8. I wasn't expecting a big sale. The line just hit stores. This is a good sale at $10. Same situation with Nami there, where that literally fits in a 4-inch box. We tested it. We've seen photos of it. This was heavily overpriced, even at it being kind of a deluxe with the chair. Very overpriced at I think $20 again would have been very fair for that. 30 is like really pushing it. Honestly, guys, I'm kind of just scrolling through and seeing some of the same things that I showed you guys. And overall, I think it's actually a pretty decent sale. Like I said, there were some pretty good things up for sale. At the same time, though, it also feels like they put a lot of the things that they overproduced on, that they're just trying to dwindle that stock on. And then once it goes back in stock, eventually they'll label it as low stock, and, you know, eventually it will sell out. But, you know, I think it's actually a pretty decent sale this time around. As I showed you in different categories, there's some really cool sales at, you know, 50% off or maybe even more than that. And I think this is a pretty good selection this time. A lot of anime on sale, though. It shows how much they've really been making in the last few years, or even the last year or so. And a lot of it being One Piece on sale is very concerning, because it's just showing the One Piece fatigue, and it's showing the overproduction on those exclusives. So hopefully they learn from this, so they don't have to put this stuff on sale later, and it will actually properly sell out. Well, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for today's video. I might go back through and maybe find 1 or 2 things I might want to pick up. I'm still thinking about that boa, also thinking about Robin a little bit. So, you know, we'll kind of see where I land on those. But of course, let me know, out of this sale, did you end up picking up anything? Again, I thought there was some pretty decent sales in there for sure. Overall, still a lot of 10% off items, but you're going to find that with a lot of sales, unfortunately, and Funko does that all the time. But there's a couple hidden gems in there, I really do think, making this a pretty decent sale overall. Make sure to hit the like button down below if you did enjoy, and subscribe and click that notification bell if you're new here. I do want to end off the video here by saying a big shout out to all the awesome Patreon supporters of the channel. You guys are amazing for supporting myself and the channel. If you guys are interested and want to check out the Patreon, the link is down below. We have a Patreon Discord where we share a lot of information, news, restocks, updates, links, and more. And finally, make sure to follow me on all my social medias at Skittlerampage over on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and my Facebook page, so you can stay up to date. All right, love you guys. See you guys in the next one. See you guys later. Bye.